In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the intercooler on an 08 to 2010 Ford F-250. This is the 6.4 liter diesel engine, and I don't have a new intercooler to put in here, but I will be reinstalling this one. That'll show you the procedure of how to replace it. Let's get started. Now you'll see this hose here. It's connected with two clamps. We want to take out this one here that bolts up to the intercooler. Use your 11mm socket and loosen up that nut. Don't take it all the way off, but loosen it up most of the way. This will give you enough room and slack in this clamp to remove the hose. There you go. This is all it's going to come down, but that's fine as long as it's off of the intercooler. Now from underneath, you'll see this hose here with two clamps. I want to loosen up this one that bolts up to the intercooler. Use your 11mm socket and loosen this up. You don't have to take it off completely, just loosen it up, and that will allow you to remove this hose off of the intercooler. Maybe a little bit more so we can slide this clamp back. Okay. Now you'll have this bracket here that bolts up this cooler to the intercooler, and it's bolted on with a 10mm bolt. Let's go ahead and remove this. Once you take it out, you can pull this one up. There we go. And you can just let it sit to the side right here. As long as it's not connected to the intercooler, you're good. Now you have two 10mm bolts up top, and that is the only thing holding this intercooler on. So let's remove them both. Take these out of here. There we go. Slide it up from its mounting holes on the bottom. There it is. Now I just wanted to point this out before I reinstall. If you lift up this rubber flap here, you'll see the two mounting points for the intercooler. That's what you're aiming for when you bring it down. Make sure that it lines up with that. To make installation a little bit easier, you can put a tiny bit of silicone paste here. This will actually help the intercooler, the pins that go in here, slide down really easy. As soon as they line up, they will just fall right into place. Take your intercooler, if you had your new one of course, drop it down. Make sure you don't damage all the fins on anything else or the intercooler itself. I'm gonna reach in and try to lift up that rubber flap so I can seat the two pins in the two rubber grommets there. Okay, there we go. That just slid right down. And before I do anything else, I'm just going to put in these two bolts here. That way it's held in place, otherwise it's going to keep wanting to fall forward. Doesn't matter which one you do first. That's one. And two. Let's snug them up since we're here. Hold the intercooler into position. Okay. There we go. Don't make it too tight. You don't want to completely crush this rubber here. You just want to make sure it's snug so it can be held in place properly. There you go. Now let's reattach this cooler. Make sure you hook it back into the intercooler, line it up at the top, and let's slide in the mounting bolt. Once you line it up, go ahead and tighten it. Make sure it's secured. Now let's reconnect the hoses. Make sure it's completely bottomed out. You want it up against this lip right here. And once it is, tighten it. I'm going to tighten it with my impact driver. But as soon as it gets snug, I'm actually going to do it by hand. That way I don't over tighten it. If you over tighten this, you'll break the clamp and then you'll need to get a new one, and this will not seal up. So also, don't go until it completely stops. That's too tight. You just want to make sure that it clamps down this hose tight enough to seal up. Try to tug on it. If you can't pull it off, you should be good to go. But it's always a good idea to double check it after a little bit to make sure that it's still properly secured. Now let's do the same to the lower hose. Now let's reconnect the lower hose. Bring it up and over. Make sure it's fully seated here. There we go. All right, make sure you bottom it out up against the ridge here, and bring your clamp over. I like to aim the threads down just like it was originally. That'll make it a lot easier for removing it next time, and also tightening it, of course. So I'll do the same thing that I did to the top. I'll use my impact driver to make it go faster, but I'll finish it off with my ratchet. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. It's squeezing the hose, but not too much. You don't want it to completely crush it, and you also don't want this to break. Make sure when you finalize the position of the clamp that it's not too close to the end, but also not too far that way. Otherwise, it won't actually squeeze the hose. So the fitting on the intercooler ends here. You want it to be right in between, in the middle. So give it one more crank. Yep, that's perfect. Now go ahead and turn on your engine and check for any boost leaks. There shouldn't be any. If there are, fix them. If not, take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.